Hello and welcome to the open day of Deakin University and the Business School. My name is Simona Scarparo and I am a senior lecturer in accounting in the Department of Accounting of the Business School. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about what accounting is. I hope you enjoy your open day and hope you make the most out of it. Go and explore and please then ask as many questions as you can when you have the opportunity. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the country. So I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which our Deakin campuses reside, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation on whose land our Geelong campuses are located, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation on whose land our Burwood campus is located, and the Gujimara people on whose land our Warrnambool campus is located. So what are we going to talk very quickly, in our session? I'm going to introduce the course and give you an overview of what you're going to study and the structure of the course. We will talk a little bit about employability and graduate employment opportunities. And we then talked about the student services that the university provides for our students. So when you study accounting, you do it in the context of a Bachelor of Commerce. And so you will be doing a Bachelor of Commerce with the major in accounting. All the units that we provide are, assessed by all the key professional bodies and therefore they meet the requirements that are required by the professional bodies to then go on into the programs to become a professional qualified accountant. So with accounting, there is really a clear career path and a clear job or number of jobs, as we will talk a little bit later, that one can obtain once you finish your degree, and if you want to become a professional accountant, you're qualified as such. And also there are very broad opportunities to work internationally as well, because the qualifications are often recognized across different jurisdictions. So why would you want to do accounting? Now, that's a question that I have been asked a lot of time. I am not personally a qualified accountant, but I studied accounting as part of my degree in economics and commerce. And many people say to me, you don't really look like an accountant. Now, I don't know what an accountant should look like, but often is considered to be somebody that is very introverted and it's hiding behind a pile of paper and a little bit remote from other people. And this cannot be further from the truth, because one of the key requirements that we know are, future employers want from the graduate, especially for accounting positions, is having somebody that likes communicating and working with people. Okay, and that's a really, really important skill that we do try, obviously, to get our graduates to develop as they study through our degree. However, you also have to be somebody that likes thinking in a logical way, that also is capable of following rules, because in accounting, if you study accounting, it is about numbers, but it's also about interpreting rules and regulations that enable us to then, prepare the accounts. You also are somebody that likes to investigate challenges and solve problems and think in a critical way, because you really need to apply judgment in terms of understanding what the rules and regulations of accounting are and how they apply to the circumstances in which you find yourself operating in. You obviously are skilled in using a computer. Younger generations nowadays are definitely better than the older generations in doing that, and able to use calculators. But also interested in global environment. One of the challenges that accountants face nowadays is how to take into consideration things like climate change, for example, or issues related to, the social impact that especially corporate have in the environment in which they operate. You also may be somebody that wants to have a qualification that will allow you to work overseas, and want to have a qualification that leads to a clear career path that we'll see in a moment. So the course is the Bachelor of Commerce, and it's a 3 years full time, and will be a little bit longer. Obviously, as one is doing it part time. And in terms of accessing the course, these are the ATA score, the one we need to achieve. Once you're finishing your VCE. There are other pathways to get into the course. So, for instance, for our mature students, for example, they might have a diploma in any discipline, or they might have a certificate 4 in a related discipline, so business related discipline. They might have finished, some units in other providers of higher education, or they might also have relevant work experience that upon assessment can lead them to obviously stream into the degree. And for the school leavers, if they are non-native English speaker, they need to have a study score of at least 25 in English, or, for any other students, 20 in English. And, here we have provided also the links on, how to apply for your studies, so you can explore that at your own leisure. What's the structure of the course? Now, when we're doing a Bachelor of Commerce, in the first trimester, as you can see, students learn a number of subjects or units, we call them units, which allow them to understand and learn the basics of how organizations and businesses work. And it gives you a broad knowledge of different type of, if you like, areas that normally one would find within a business organization. So you learn something like, you learn accounting for decision making, which is the foundations of accounting. You learn economics, foundations of finance, and information systems, especially very relevant nowadays that we can work with big data to enable decision making processes. You then learn business law, marketing, management, and very, very importantly, the unit here, professional insights, starts you to think about your career, what you would like to do, and prepare yourself in order to then find a job and look for a job by the time you finish the degree at Deakin. Now you then delve into, your major, and in accounting we do financial accounting and management accounting in the first, in the first trimester of the second year, and therefore you start understanding, a little bit more about accounting and learning, a little bit more deeply what the different branches of accounting are. So the key difference between financial accounting and management accounting is that financial accounting is really related to providing information for external users, so some people that are outside a business entity or an organization. And whereas management accounting is really, providing information that enables managers to run an organization. And so planning, budgeting, control, and performance measurement, they all fit within that remit. And then students can choose electives. So, obviously one can decide to, major in something else. So it's very popular to do accounting and finance, for instance. But any other combination will be equally valid, because, it will broaden, your knowledge skills and your knowledge set. In the second trimester, we do ethics, which is fundamental, ability to understand what it means to behave in an ethical way, and to know what are the code of ethics that apply, for instance, to accounting and financial services. It's absolutely a must. And we definitely want our graduates to behave and upheld highly ethical and standards. So, that's why it's one of the compulsory units. And then students do a little bit more advanced finance, and then again there is space for elective. And in year 3, as you can see, we do corporate accounting, auditing and assurance, and accounting and society, and income tax law. So in the third year, the students really acquire, highly technical accounting knowledge, for example. And in the unit called Accounting and Society, this is a capstone which brings the knowledge that the students have acquired throughout the degree together. And the students here have the opportunity to working in teams to play a simulation games, which enable them to experience what it is like to run a business and having to make all sorts of decisions which tap into, the knowledge that they have acquired and hopefully stored throughout their degree. And then there is obviously space again for other elective units. One thing that in fact is extremely popular with our students is to do a double degree. And here it's a list of the different options of double degrees that a student can have. It's very popular nowadays to do, for instance, a Bachelor of Commerce and a Bachelor of Business Analytics, because that brings together a deep understanding of, what are the various functions that are not commonly found in business organizations, but also in not-for-profit organizations, and then learn how do you utilize data, how you produce data, how you utilize data. So it's a very, very, if you like, one of the most popular, in fact, that is happening. But equally also the Bachelor of Arts or also the Bachelor of Science, where students can combine and expand, broaden the knowledge that they have, and the experiences that the opportunities that are open to them are very, very popular. So what are the career opportunities? As an accountant, if one has a degree, a Bachelor of Commerce, and then a major in accounting, and obviously some other units, one can minor in something else, opens you a huge amount of opportunities, because on top of the traditional pathways, for instance, of working in the industry or in an accounting firm as an accountant, meaning, for example, financial accountant, an auditor, a tax accountant, or a management accountant, there are all sorts of other avenues that are open in terms of ability to provide consultancy, for example, or to work within regulators. Accounting provides the means to assess the way in which business entities have been conducted, or not just business entities, actually, not-for-profit organizations, NGO as well. And that, can inform the way in which then regulators shape the regulatory environment, create the rules, and therefore that's also somewhere where one can work. One can work also, for instance, in the space of forensic accounting. And so, one could work for those regulators that assess whether there has been fraud committed, for example. And so one has to do that kind of detective work that allows you to understand whether there has been fraudulent behavior that has manipulated the numbers, for example. You can work in the space of risk and assurance, because that's something that one will learn as you go through the degree, for instance, work within academia, work as a teacher, and work for not just for-profit organization or within specific industries, but also within the public service and within government and not-for-profit organizations. And, one can work in Australia and internationally. So there are a lot of opportunities that are open for our students. And one of the things that, in fact, I have witnessed is when we have had the opportunity to liaise with senior managers in very large corporations. Many would have had a Bachelor of Commerce with a major in accounting, worked for a few years in an accounting firm or in a large auditing firm, and then transitioned into large corporates, and then had the opportunity to climb the ladder become senior managers, exactly because within, when we study in accounting, we have the ability to really understand how all the decisions that are made within an organization are then reflected into the way in which the performance of that organization is reported and is assessed. So it gives you really an understanding of how actually things works and what are the consequences of making certain decisions rather than others. If you want to become an accountant, what you're going to do? Well, as I said, there are different types of accountants. You might be a financial accountant, so somebody that prepares the financial statements that then are provided to the external world to tell how the business or the organization has managed the resources. Or you might become a management accountant. And so here you work within the organization, working with managers, senior managers, in terms of understanding how to plan, how to budget, how to control, so cost control, for example, and how to set performance measurement systems, for example. Or you can become a forensic accountant, and therefore understanding why businesses have operated in the way they've operated and why the financial statements look the way they look. So that's what one does. In terms of day-to-day task, one would examine and process transactions related to income, expenditure, related to an individual or an organization, prepare financial statements, establish bank accounts, trusts, and do the necessary, governance related activities. And usually somebody that has got high attention to details, likes working with numbers, will be very suitable, obviously, for this type of job. And the entry salary that you have indicated there is really the baseline. It's what on average happens as a graduate enters the market. Or you could go down the route of auditing, which is a very fundamental, if you like, activity, right, that enables the financial markets to operate efficiently. And the auditors really assess whether the accounts that have been provided by the organizations have been prepared in a way that is respecting the rules and the regulations that are set in order to prepare them, and also whether these the accounts have been kept in a manner that is diminishes the opportunity, if you like, of providing the wrong information or manipulating the information. So, as an auditor, one will gather evidence about the financial state of the organization, ensure that, the cash, the money is accurate, prepare reports that analyze, the way in which the accounting information system has been kept, and whether the business entity has, a reliable and strong governance mechanism in place, and also analyze the financial risks that are related to the industries in which the various organizations operate. Again, somebody that has got a high level of attention to details and likes to problem solve and investigate challenges will be very suitable for this type of job. And that's the indicative average salaries that is deducted from the market. Now, how do we prepare you for your job? Well, we try to provide our students with as much as possible opportunities to experience what it would be like, working out there in the real world. And therefore, we embed often in our accounting courses, we use industry software, like, for example, Xero, whereby the students therefore learn how do you use that when you are preparing your financial statement, for example. As I said earlier on, we use business simulations that enable the students to experience what it is like hands-on to run a business, having to think of the coordinating with the multiple functions of running a business. So organizing and within the teamwork who does what, and then making decisions, and then understanding how the decisions have impacted on the results that they have obtained. We also provide the students with work integrated learning experiences, and these are both at local level and internationally, whereby the students normally work in specific projects that have been identified in conjunction with industry partners, with other companies, and therefore that enables the students again to learn how to put into practice what they have been learning as they went along through their degree. And all our courses are informed by, the expertise also of practitioners, and especially for accounting, the close relationships that we have with the professional accounting bodies. So Deakin is accredited, which means by AACSB, by EQUIS, and these accreditation are really important because they are a stamp of recognizing the high quality of, the learning experiences that we offer to our students, the skills of everybody that is involved in providing those learning experiences, and the facilities and the infrastructure that is utilized in order to guide, take our students in their journey with us. And in the business school, the accounting department is also linked very strongly to the Institute of Public Accountants, the IPA, whereby we have a research center that is also funded by the IPA on small and medium enterprises. So, close link, very close link with the professional bodies that help us. Now, in terms of employability and skills the students learn, it is not just learning about the discipline that they are studying, but it's also the ability to engage in other activities that develop the resilience, that develop their problem-solving skills, that develop also their, emotional intelligence. And so students have the opportunity through the programs and the infrastructure of university to engage in volunteering, both in Australia and internationally, to have the opportunity to do internships, consultancy experiences. For example, we run business clinics whereby students are guided by mentors in providing consultancy on some specific problems that businesses may have. And so we have been able to conduct a broad range of international study tours and study abroad opportunities for the students. In fact, we have been running up until this year faculty-led study programs, and there are a variety of programs that range from students working on specific projects that have been coordinated by universities overseas with businesses overseas, whereby the students then have a couple of weeks to work on a specific project that has been given to them, or they can spend a trimester abroad, or they can volunteer internationally or go on a student exchange. So there is a variety of opportunities, which now at this point in time are a little bit on hold because of COVID-19. However, Deakin is known for being a very innovative organization, and so we have been organizing a virtual work integrated learning experience whereby then the students can connect with other for instance, other businesses or other students in other institutions overseas, and work collaboratively on projects. So certainly different from being face-to-face and having the ability to explore the world, but in terms of providing our students with the opportunity to expand, and their skills, definitely, we have been able to, make the most of the challenges that the current COVID situation has thrown at us. as I said earlier on, we work very closely with the professional bodies, and so all the units that we provide are scrutinized by the accounting professional bodies, and then recognized. So the students, once they graduate, can apply for the membership to these professional bodies. They would have to do a little bit more, professional exams, but there is already a baseline there that is recognized, because obviously we work in partnerships with these institutions. So, and that's certainly an advantage for us, for the students, but also for the professional bodies that know that they get students that have been rigorously trained throughout the degree. Students can also, start the degree a little bit earlier. And so we have the Deakin Accelerate program, by which the students can study accounting as part of the, final year 12, and they can do 2 units at no cost, right? And so this is for high achieving students. It gives them a boost in terms of reaching the data that they want, and earn already university credits even before they get into university, and differentiate themselves from everybody else, obviously. And it will ease the transition of the students within the degree. So there are a number of pathways, but I will not, spend too much time on this, because there will be other colleagues that will cover with this. The other thing is the university offers, a very high number of services that take care of the students. But when they enter university, the first year can be often hard, because we have to adapt to study differently, different living conditions, and also, helps the students through then until they graduate, and even after they graduate and leave university. So we do have, services that help students with academic skills, for instance, a peer-to-peer system of mentoring and study and assisted study stations. We have medical center counseling for taking care of physical and mental health, and we also have student clubs and societies that help students to wind down and to develop also other interpersonal skills beyond acquiring the knowledge that they need. And also a graduate recruitment services that will help the students to then find a job once they are finishing and they graduate. So, we have been doing this, Deakin has been doing this for a very long time, and we are recognized leaders, especially for our ability to deliver great educational experiences online. And we are very proud of the fact that Deakin has been voted #1 university for student satisfaction in Victoria for 8 consecutive years. And this is a source of great pride, because it's the students who are telling us that they have been very satisfied with the way in which we have helped them, through this, their study. And then we have all sorts of other achievements that are listed here, which attest to the quality of the university. So please join me and a student that will be there, a student ambassador, and some other colleagues for a live Q&A sessions, which will be hosted after you watch these. And please do make sure that you explore the university, although virtually, and you explore the variety of content and experiences and opportunities that Deakin University is able to provide to our prospective and current students. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you all later at the live Q&A session. Bye-bye.